Hello, everyone. We are back at Meta One Designs headquarters, and we are here for another episode of Beyond the NFT. It's very good to see you all. I see Rishi Girl got a new name, Buckle Bunny. Love it, love it. We have M and our homie 9mm here chilling. It's been a while, 9mm. Thank you for stopping through. I got lots of love for you. We got Meta Tiger in the house with Mean Green Doge and Meta Wolf rocking the fabulous CBD 1 year jacket. Um, we have DCL Chess in the building. Zom is over here just conversating the night away with Toria. We got to get Toria one of those uh, conversation emotes so she can speak back to Zom. Welcome, welcome, Sultry Dubs. Stony Eye, if you're around here, awesome show earlier at True. Really enjoyed the guest you brought on, and I hope you could do stuff like that more in the future. What up, Toxic Waifu? We have Multi NFT, T Bird. Judas, OG Contraband. Man, all the friends are in the building today, Canessa. This is crazy. Um, just wanted to start off, tonight's show by thanking you all for being here. It really does mean the world to see you all here supporting the show. And yeah, it really is a blessing. And now, tonight's guest is director of Decentraland's Ambassador Program and co-founder of community building Decentraland. Let's give a warm welcome to our friend Canessa. How are you, Canessa?
I'm good. I'm good. You do such a good job with the intro.
Oh, why? Thank you. Why? Thank you. I go a cappella every night, every I don't know if it's like sometimes like a good thing or a bad thing. Like I don't want it to get dry, but then at the same time, I don't want to stumble. So I don't know. It's weird medium.
No,
Back to
it's
the intro.
good. Because I was thinking about running. I just, it's funny because I don't know how many Twitter spaces we've talked in, but like this is different. And I'm like, I was telling you like before it started, like I could still just run and just like never, you guys had never seen me again. Like it's funny how the nerves, like, I don't know.
I don't know about that, Canessa. I know what your beast looks like, so
I
I
know
don't
you
know.
might find,
I don't know if you can get too far here. And
yeah, you could put a donut out and you would, I wouldn't make it too far, I think. Yeah.
yeah. You are a first-time victim on this show. I mean, guest on this
Yeah.
show.
Yeah.
So I want to take it from the beginning. Baby Canessa in the metaverse. How did you find Decentraland, and like what really interested you in what this digital world brought and could offer to you?
I first found like Mana like in 2018, and I had like gotten into Robinhood penny stocks. Not financial advice, probably not a good thing. So like I was that's how I found Bitcoin. And then I couldn't understand most coins, like what they did. It's like what does ADA do or Solana, and like they're really complicated. But I came across, actually it was like the first logo, the old logo that Decentraland had, and then it was like a virtual world, and I could understand that. I was like, yeah, like I get that. Like I was into webtoons like way back in the day, and so I bought Mana in 2018, but then I lost like $25 in Bitcoin, like just with losses, and I was like, no, cryptocurrency, I can't stand these losses. Like I have, I sold it all. Like nope. Um, yeah, went into like more solid projects like other shit coins. But then I was using like VR in my classroom a lot. Like I was a high school special education teacher, and working with kids, some, severely impacted, like autism, Down syndrome, you know, real, like pretty much the most intense, situations. Those are what came through my classroom, and some kids that were struggling more with emotional behavioral needs. So like I I had some students that were on like 24-hour suicide watch, and just, I mean, really intense intense work environment. And like those kind of kids, if you just approach them like a regular, like every other teacher in the school, they're just gonna, laugh in your face and give you the middle finger, tell you to a lot of different creative places to go. So I started using VR to, try to, instead of me asking them to come into my world, I tried to go into their world. So I, yeah, like really used AR, VR. Like I had an Oculus headset for my classroom. I had really cool, like a motion sensor thing for hands that the kids didn't have to dissect a frog. They could like do it, just in the air, which doesn't sound like a big deal today, but that was 6 years ago or 5 years ago. Yeah, like around that time. So pretty cutting edge for the time. And then I kind of stumbled back on Decentraland, and it was March. Actually, it was it was 5 years ago this week. pretty crazy. And Decentraland was having a build contest, like where you could get in and use the builder tool. And so the picture that I posted this week, it was like literally the first thing I ever built. It was like drag and drop, like a one parcel scene, nothing fancy, but it was that scene that I was like, whoa, like I can make stuff here. Like this is so easy. I could go walk in it then. And yeah, and so then like 2 days later, I think I made this huge scene, and then from there, like they just started like building and building, and like my scenes got more and more complicated. Because the prizes at the time, they're giving out 50, I think it's 50 mana per entry. And so yeah, like all-time high prices, I think it was like $1,000. But at the time, I remember seeing something. It was like you could win up to $50 for, like making these scenes. So yeah, that's kind of how I found it, and then stuck with it. Oh yeah, that's the scene.
So I've heard in the past that like even with previous like competitions and builder competitions with Decentraland, like way before we like entered the space and stuff like that, I've heard that there used to be like millions of mana worth of prizes
Oh yeah.
out. I wish I would I would have been there.
Yeah, I have like in my phone, I have like a screenshot. The top prize was like I think it was like 250,000 mana or something crazy, and then 8 parcels of
Oh,
land, and then from there it went down. And at the time, I mean, it was like I was one of the winners, so I got like 2,500 mana and a parcel of land. So and that was cool. But like,
it's a come up, especially like considering that after months after that, like we pumped to all time highs, correct?
it was actually a few years. It was like that would have been April of 2019, and then it was yeah, November of 2021. So yeah,
Oh,
then
I
all of a
see.
sudden that man was like really worth something. So perspective, yeah, just hang on to your mana long enough and see what happens.
Hang on to your mana long enough, and it might pump to $5 a piece.
Yeah, I mean, I had mana in my account that I was just like, it's not even worth taking off of there. Like, it's just, it's like $20 or I don't know. But man, yeah, I couldn't log in fast enough later when it's like, wait, I have mana in there, and like a couple L1 shirts that I was like, I could sell these and just get rid of everything.
Nice. Yeah, could you share a little bit about your early days on the platform once the Centraland, like the main world, was deployed and you first logged in? Who were some of the first community members that you met and or people that you like came in contact with?
Yeah, like most of my time was actually before you could ever walk in the world. Like that yeah, that was like the most of the time that I interacted with. I only interacted the only people I know was Rob L, Like he was asking people to build on District X, and so, and you know, anybody that won the creator contest, just to like had an all call like, hey, if you want to build, put your stuff there. So I was like, okay, what do you want to put on there? And he's like, I don't care, like, you know, just anything. And so I was like, all right. So, you know, and it's like it's the red light district. And so I made like my own version of what I thought like that kind of area would need. And I built out like 144 parcels, like the biggest you can build was like a giant 32 piece estate. So I did like 4 of those that connected through water. I did like a Pirates Cove, and then like a little New Orleans seaport, and then like a like a rocky island, and just you know, like I did not know what a porn scene would need like that. Like so I made like all these little places that you could just hide, like get away, like with now thinking about it, you know, with the voice feature, like what was I thinking? Like I was making all these nice places to hide away, but yeah, that so that's the only person. I think there was like one other person that suggested paintball in the forums, but otherwise I didn't connect with anyone. Like it, you know, there was no way to walk in worlds, so everything was done through Discord, and I hadn't discovered Twitter yet. And even once the world was deployed, it was so hard to find anybody. Like I would just wander the map looking for red dots, and like I don't know. I remember meeting somebody once and coming across them, and I'm sure it was like totally awkward, like hello, and they probably were like hello.
Yes, let's talk about the first red dot you ever came across.
Oh my god. Yeah, I don't even remember, I mean, who they were. Like it might have been somebody else, you know, like I don't remember the name. I mean, I don't remember teleporting, because like there was nothing to teleport to. It wasn't like the map today that has, you know, points of interest and even like where you can see stuff. It was just an open map, so you could just look and try to find red dots, but usually it was like literally just walking, and I would just walk and walk and walk, and there was nothing deployed. Like, so when you did come across a scene, it was like, oh, like wow, this, like, oh my gosh, there's something here. And you know, that felt like a really big deal, because it was a really empty world. And like I had purchased my land back in April of 2019, so I had to wait. After I bought my land, I had to wait 10 months to walk in it. So like not knowing what kind of, I mean, I didn't buy it because of the investment, but it was a lot of waiting around to see like, what does this world look like? Yeah, and I could have, so I was really active in the early days, really active building the scene, you know, for Rob L. But then, so the day we could mint names, I remember it was July 10th, 2019, because I was going to Texas for a convention, a teacher's convention. And like, it was one of those mornings you just remember, because I was in the airport minting my name. Like, I think it was free, because the first 4,000 people. Yeah, the first 4,000 people to open a Decentraland account got it for free on Trust Wallet. There's something like that. I know, and a T-shirt.
And a T-shirt.
So yeah, my Crypto Heroes, it did like some kind of project, so they give out T-shirts, and so that's how I like be based on the T-shirt. Like the first. Yeah, I think the first 1,000 people got a free name, and then the first 4,000 got a T-shirt, something like that. So like they're those cool T-shirts. I'll put it on if I can find it.
Is it the 02/20/2020 shirt?
That's the one. That's
I think you have it on, right?
Yeah, that's my baby. That one was airdropped on the day that you could walk in world. And so that was the one I was like, oh, I could sell that for money, like, because I don't care. I'm getting out of Decentraland, selling my land. Like, maybe somebody will buy that. I'll just floor it. Let's see. Yeah, this one. Okay, so this is the cacao. If anybody's seen Portlandia, it'll make you laugh. Cacao. This is the T-shirt that you got airdropped for being one of the first 4,000, I think.
Oh
I think
my
it must have been.
God! Look at it.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. You,
Yeah.
you sure you can't sell that for 10 ETH now?
Yeah, maybe. I think, I mean, if somebody, yeah, do you want to buy it for
I
10?
I mean, as soon as I get 10 ETH, I will totally
Yeah.
buy it.
Yeah.
I mean, do you want to front me and then I'll get you the money back?
Sure. Sure.
Sure.
I kind of swoop them up when they show up. Like as far as a piece of history, this is a to me this is a pretty special piece because I didn't even know I had it. Actually, it was like last year. I, it like dawned on me that like the name Canessa is not what I minted that day. I minted the name Parusa, which is like the scientific name for a chickadee, like my favorite bird. And so
Chickadee's
then
a
some I was
bird?
like, oh yeah, like Paris atricapillus would be the scientific nomenclature for the black-capped chickadee,
I learned
and
something
that's
today.
yeah, like that's what I would have gone as. But then I don't even remember minting Canessa. I don't know. I minted it right before launch, but I really legit like don't remember minting it. But yeah. So the day we minted our names, like I literally got on the flight and got off the like when you touch down you land and like I turned my phone off of airplane mode and it was like blown up with messages and my teaching partner and my best friend had passed away in a river accident and so that pretty much like life after that just became about taking care of my students, my classroom. To say it was devastating would be an understatement. So I didn't log into Decentraland. I just focused on staying afloat for quite a while, and so I missed out like on a lot of the events, like the eyes that I wear. Those are from Halloween 2019, and I had a chance to log in, but just to be honest, I was too sad. So after I came back, I bought those eyes, and I wear them, just to kind of remind myself of, I don't know, sometimes you just get sad. So yeah, that kind of kept me away until launch day 2020. I went on another trip, went to Arizona, and so like I brought my fancy laptop, brand new, got it for the world so that I could build, and brought that with and logged in for the first time, and it was pretty cool. I mean, I was expecting the graphics of the sky to look like it did today. So I was legit like so disappointed on launch day because I had bought like 21 parcels of land, which, not financial advice. Don't do that. Like I had already made this huge investment and thinking in my mind that it was going to look more like the university district because a lot of the videos that were coming out were like Carl Fravel and they were making, really high res graphics. And then to come in and like the sky, there was no nighttime, it was just daytime all the time and really like, low graphic sky. Couldn't find anyone in the world. And I'm just like, I mean, literally like, I was like, this is the biggest mistake of my life. Like, why did I get into Decentraland? And but there were quests, like you could run around and get you could get mana from like going and finding treasure chests. So that was pretty cool. Because I have like screenshots like you got 10 mana. And other people won like the fox hat that, is ungodly expensive now and mythic. Like you could win all this stuff and like they didn't even mint out all of the Dia de los Muertos eyes that I wear. Like they didn't even mint all of them. They were out there and people could have, but they didn't because they were all ETH, it's on the ETH blockchain. So it would have cost, kind of been expensive if you wanted to go mint all of them. In hindsight, probably would have been a good financial move to just like go mint all of these wearables that are the first wearables in a Ethereum based metaverse. So yeah.
yeah. What would it have been like if you could just like get like 2 fox hats or like the fox hat by set by Shibu?
Oh my god. Yeah.
I remember like you know, my early days in Decentraland, like coming across you at a party, and then like just seeing a comment from Fancy just randomly being like, "Lol, Canessa's just casually wearing a 5 ETH hat."
Oh yeah.
Is Fancy just all
Wow.
like wanting that fox
Oh
head
my
so
God.
bad?
Fancy and I are like, we're like kindred spirits, and I don't know if it's in a good way or not. It's like we have, yeah, we got the same gene. Um, Not financial advice, just maybe don't. I don't know. Yeah, we love our collection.
That's yeah, like Fancy is like your fashionista spirit animal here in the
Yes,
space.
yes, yes. Although I'm looking at Mariana's hair, and I'm, jonesing over her hair. It's so pretty.
Isn't it? It's so pretty.
Yeah.
I'm surprised by the amount of Mews that are here today. Wow, I'm seeing like what 6-7% of the float.
Yeah, yeah. It's a meat party. Wow, yeah.
I'm just
That's
being
so cool.
silly. I'm just being silly. Okay, so like as my intro indicated, you are director of the Decentraland's ambassador program. What could you tell us about like your role in the ambassador program, and yeah, maybe some stuff that or yeah, even talk about the team a little bit.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's been an honor to, kind of get that started from the ground up. We've built the program out kind of on the back end of it. We've got a Notion wiki where every ambassador has access to that, and then it gives them like all the resources that they need. There's a lot more that goes into an event than I initially thought. Like if you're going to take pictures, you have to have a photo release form so that you can take pictures of people, everything, just to make sure that we're on, all consistent. Like the idea was that we would have swag, you know, everybody around the world would be getting the same swag. And so getting the marketplace set up, it's still a work in progress on that one. Some ambassadors have done a good job of like finding their swag locally. And then, yeah, like building it, finding out what works, finding out what doesn't work. Sometimes it's like, you think you got a great idea, and when it comes to reality, it's like, yeah, nope, we're gonna tweak that one a little bit. But yeah, I'm so part of my job prior to this as a special education teacher. Most of my 50% of my meetings were interpreted. So, personally, I don't want like a language barrier to be inhibit anybody from having like a good interaction in their native speaking countries. So some of our ambassadors, they know a lot about Decentraland. They maybe speak English, understand English, or use the tools to translate. But I don't want like our ability to have, it takes quite a bit to have conversational English, like the ability to go back and forth in a conversation. And so when we were interviewing all the ambassadors, some of them did an awesome job just getting interpreters, like friends and people in the community that came in that could interpret for them. Because I think that's really important, that we don't need people to speak English to tell the world about Decentraland. We need people to speak, their native language so they can tell more people in their own area about Decentraland. So yeah, like it's been neat. I think some of the highlights have been just learning about different cultures too, like business cards. One of the first things we learned, we said, oh, business cards, people don't use those. And in one country, they're like, no, business cards, you have to have business cards. And it was so funny because at the GDC this week, somebody from that same country, first thing they do, they have a business card, and they're like, this is tradition in our country. Like this is what we do. And so Kim was like, wow, like it's real. Like this,
We need business
so I
cards.
think, yeah, like, so being culturally responsive to that our, Western way of looking at things, like our, American, centric version of the world, that it's a great big world out there. And just because it's something that we do, we don't think twice about it, doesn't mean that that's gonna, work in other countries as well. So trying to like into, different ways of doing it, different delivery methods. And one thing that I really like through the ambassador program is that that title of ambassador has opened up a lot of doors for people. Like Metaryuk just met with the Singaporean government. Kenji Henkos are doing some amazing things in Japan. I'll wait, for those to be more formally announced. But yeah, Scat Lion Rock. I mean, the presentation at Reading University. It's been neat. I mean, it's I like that we're not approaching every event the same way. So like one is targeting influencers, one is targeting college students, one is targeting a small group of people, others are like business. And so at the end we can kind of look at the results and whether they're successful or less than successful. We can be like, okay, what worked, what didn't work, like how's the best way to reach people? Because definitely after this last week, I've like learned a lot about just about explaining things to people.
Yeah, most definitely. So yeah, with counting like all the ambassadors this far, how many countries or like can you name off the top of your head that we have ambassadors operating in? And yeah, I
Oh,
guess
you're
that
gonna
would be
make me
in.
name
I'm gonna make you scroll.
off the top of my head. Okay, let's see. We've got Brazil. Well, and I should put it in there. The program's almost over, and not everybody's had a meeting, an event in their their region. So I think just kind of the nature of the program. Sometimes people get strapped for time, so we'll see how the last part of this program plays out. But we've got Brazil, Ghana, West Africa, Washington D.C., Japan, Spain, China, India, Singapore, Malaysia,
Ooh.
Dubai, United Kingdom, and then a couple people dropped out. So pretty good. I mean, like for me, I was hoping we would, and for what I heard from the community was that we would have a wide range. That one fear was that I heard from many ambassadors that everybody was going to be from the United States.
Mm-hmm.
That was one fear, is that it was going to be a strong United States presence. And, it's pretty diverse. We didn't get Australia. We didn't get Antarctica.
Mm-hmm.
So those two continents.
But those are just, future ambassadors that have not been named yet. In other words, like, kind of like with how this ambassador grant has progressed. Do you see, like, have you noticed any ways that you can improve it next time, make it bigger or get more people involved?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I've got a running list of like what worked, what did not go well. Definitely. And so I think like I don't think we can hit education hard enough. Like colleges, I think that personally would be where I would put the focus. I mean, just listening to what people were asking for, even over the past week at GDC, like education. How do we get up and coming students in here? Because those are the ones that they are getting their own startups, getting their own studios. They're the ones that are, I think, excited to come into this realm.
Mm-hmm.
I think like I would still love to see, I really, maybe it's because of my background in like working with students in vocation, but I want to see people get built up. Like it's wonderful to build the land, but so much harder and so much more rewarding to build people up. So like I would love to see, just more people, step out of their comfort zone to potentially be an ambassador. And, I don't know how future iterations of it will look, how exactly it'll look like. I mean, it is kind of hard to budget. You're looking at how much do we spend per person. Is it a crazy amount of money, or is it doable? Like, I mean, it just shipping, like, so there's things behind the scenes that we didn't realize were going to be hard. Like just shipping one T-shirt to Brazil, the person who, and that was for the DAO program, but the person had to pay $90 just to accept it.
Oh,
from the postal service. So like if we were talking about sending swag, that's just crazy.
that's rough. That's like gas fees.
Yeah.
Paying gas fees
Yeah.
at the post office.
It is. So then looking at like, T-shirts, I mean, if you give those away, you gotta have sizing for each person. And so even just, I mean, there's so many different ways to look at it. Like the swag that we give away. I mean, I don't know. I personally think like giving people away a name is a good idea at an event, because then you don't have to worry about shipping. You don't have to worry about that. And they just have like a instant world at their fingertips. And, so that's one thing we've talked about. Kenji actually had an amazing idea and Kenji's one of our ambassadors from Japan, but it's this little avatar. It's this box that could sit on a table, and your DCL avatar in theory could be in it, and it's got AI hooked up to it. So then you could be like talking to your avatar. Like at the table. It would be such an eye-catching way to get people like pulled into your booth.
Yeah, totally. Those are definitely some interesting ideas to consider and play around with, and kind of in a way learn to execute through action.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's awesome. I mean, I'm really bullish on the ambassador program. I'm really happy kind of like what it is today, and because I know that you are hard at work, always trying to improve it, make it better in any way that you possibly can, and taking your notes, making sure you dot your I's and cross your T's. That's crazy what you mentioned to me about the release forms, kind of for recording people, or yeah, that's something that I did not think about, but that is an aspect to it.
Yeah, and I mean, if anybody, I grew up doing craft shows with my mom, so I don't know, if anybody's done those kind of booths or trade shows, whatever can go wrong is gonna go wrong. So I'm I don't know, even last week I had my tackle box full of stuff, like tape and scissors and every single power cable you could want. And even something as simple as if you forget a pen and you can't write down somebody's contact information, although now whatever, nowadays we have phones and LinkedIn and everything, but it's that one little thing that you don't think of could just ruin, it will, it is Murphy's Law. Last week the mouse battery died in our mouse, so it's of course it did, of course. And you're in the city, I don't know. I mean, they have batteries in the city, but it's where do I go for AAA batteries? And luckily, Yamel had a backup mouse, but it's those little things that.
Proof of concept. In future conferences we'll have you never know, there could be a projector up in the background with the Decentraland playing.
It's
the baby steps.
Yeah.
Maybe you can get someone to hack into some good Wi-Fi nearby.
And oh my god,
and then run it.
Well, we had at the show, we did have us Decentraland playing in the background. I have videos I need to send to people, because I would there's one where I got Mana D, and then it I panned to show the whole conference. So I was like, Mana, you're famous. And Aisha took the whole stage. Aisha wanted.
Aisha, the intern, wanted some action.
Well, yeah, Aisha from Genesis Plaza, Doki's AI character.
Oh, I thought you were talking about your past intern.
Yeah, no, people are gonna think I really had an intern. I don't, guys. It's my alt account. It's not real.
Yeah, I was telling Canessa earlier before we started the show that yeah, my intern Sinful Media decided that he didn't want to no longer wanted to be an intern and that he wanted to be the boss. So now he
Yeah.
just bosses me around and
Oh
keeps me
no.
in line, and if I'm doing something bad, it's kind of mean.
Yeah, and Elise, yeah, my intern, she created an AI startup and she's retired at the age of 24. So
It's
keep my
funny
own
how
confidence.
we just give our fictional interns some a backstory.
Yeah. Well, I got to be careful because then one day somebody thought I really had an intern. I'm like, no.
Yeah, right. Man, I'm really happy to see Meta One Designs headquarters this packed. I've seen Judas like I've been like just staring at his glasses like
Oh yes,
and,
Judas is one of my favorite. I think one of my favorite under like I don't know, just like underground wearable artists. Like Judas, he's the master.
like a underground rapper.
Yeah.
I saw Multiversal pop in. What's up? What's up? It's been a while, my friend. Really happy to have you here. And Make an NFT also popped in. So, yeah, we have quite the crowd. Stony Eye. I found Stony Eye. He's been floating up and down this entire time,
Yeah.
just stealthily.
Uh,
And I've been enjoying just like, going through, playing with the camera feature here and just showing off our friends like drippy wearables. Like when
yeah.
when I started in Decentraland, and I'm sure as hell like know that when you started on Decentraland, like the swag was a different
Oh yeah.
scene, like like,
Yeah.
like only the OGs had the swag.
Yeah. And I mean, I wonder, like, even if you took screenshots and like aggregated them over time, I think you would just see like color. Like if you could somehow put that, I don't know how you do that, but like run it through AI, like you would just see, like we have just so much more color in Decentraland now compared to long ago. Like when I came back, kind of more actively in like 2021, um, like I would wear brown hair a lot, but then I'd be at Wonder Zone, like helping people, and they'd be like, "Thanks, bro. Thanks, dude." And I'm just like, "Oh, okay." Like, there's not a nice way to say, "Oh, I'm okay. You're welcome," but I'm actually like a sis. Like because you just sound snarky, but I
uh,
just, it's like like um. And so I got the Sugar Club wig because that was like bright pink, and yeah, that's why I started wearing pink hair, so that at least visually there would be less of a, it would be like unapologetically, female. Because there weren't a lot of women, like
mhm.
not many at all walking around, and certainly not a lot of pink rocking around.
Mhm.
So,
Mhm.
yeah.
For sure, for sure. I know that you were one of the starting individuals in like DG to whip them into shape, like
Oh man.
reminding them that females are in the space and
Yeah.
they're getting shit done.
Yeah. Yeah. I was the only one for a long time, and then Allie's game got a crown. And then one other person that didn't stay around much, and then Empress Rand got a crown. But yeah, it was like I definitely, I don't know, like I wanted to have a seat at the table. Like that felt important back then, just to like, and it was passive income. Like it was at that time really, really, profitable passive income that I wish it would have stayed that way. Like, definitely not financial advice. Just build kids, do it, kids. Whatever you see me doing, just do the opposite, and you'll be fine.
Dude,
Just
dude, yeah,
don't FOMO into gambling projects. Or
well,
yeah, if you do, make sure you get nice wearables.
yeah, I mean the thing is that like I kind of feel like if in like any way an individual like in this space um like ever feels embarrassed about like, you know, getting into a project, getting in too deep into a project and getting burned. Like, you know, I feel like one of those things are things that need to be kind of talked about more than kind of like, you know, being embarrassed to talk about, because you know, individuals listening to the show and future people that listen to this show as well as like come into the space, like these are things that they, you know, they need to hear, because like
Yeah.
you know, it's like invest in the people. I say don't invest into a project, invest
Yeah.
into the people that are in the project, and in that way you will never lose, because like you know the person that you invested in. You know, you joined this community because you met these three individuals that are just the coolest individuals that, you know, you want to support them and be around them.
Yeah. Yeah. People, not projects. I mean, and I'm still, you know, definitely deep in DG. I mean, it's different than it was 2 years ago, but I still believe in. I mean, they could have left at any time. They're one of the longest projects here. Like, you know, just like I was talking about my T-shirt, like, they're like the people that made my T-shirt. They didn't stick around. Like, you know, Chain Breakers. I mean, there's tons of projects that they could have left at any time. So I think 1 year in the metaverse is a long time. So to have been here for many years, yeah, like I'm not giving up on them yet. You know.
Yep. Not get. Yeah. I'm like right on that like line. Like I'm like, prove me wrong. Prove me wrong. Like I'm like, prove me wrong already. You know, like I'm just waiting for them to just be like, Sinful, I know you've been talking shit, but we've been working.
Yeah.
We hear.
Well, I mean, it's a bear market. Like, I think
No.
anybody that's been building in a bear market, they get like the little gold star award. They get the little extra credit, you know, because that shit is not. I mean, that's only crazy people do that.
Yeah. But Canessa, can I point out that Bitcoin hit a new all-time high last week, the week before? No, I'm
Yeah.
just being a little shitter now.
No, that's yeah. I mean, I think none of this is easy, and if it's, I mean, when you're disrupting an entire financial system, an economy that's been that way for our lifetime and our parents and our grandparents' generation, like disruption isn't easy, and you've got a lot of forces working against you. So, I mean, I don't know, like what is the commercial, fortune favors the brave? Like I think that I don't know, this is kind of a time to be like taking those risks and taking those chances, because I mean, the bigger risk is doing nothing. Just put more into your 401k, right? And watch inflation take the value out of it. Like, that's another way we could do it. I mean, I'm not saying take your 401k and put it into wearables that you can gamble with, but, you know.
Taking notes. Take 401k, buy wearable.
Take the hit. Take the. Yep.
Take the.
Just fell into Sam's time.
Yep. So, let's see. Yeah, I guess I wanted to talk a little bit about. Yeah, I know you've been mentioning it through the conversation, the Game Developers Conference. Just wanted to chat a little bit about like your experience there, any takeaways that you may have gotten from, you know, just the overall gaming space, like what direction they're looking in, and and as well as like talk a little bit about like what it was like to meet the new Decentraland CEO, Yamel.
Well, I'll tell you what, when I met him, he wanted good American food, and so when I met him, he was finishing up his meal of pancakes. So I was like, brother, I can get behind anybody that goes out for pancakes.
I'm surprised he didn't give him a donut.
I know. Well, then we were like, Kim and I were like, well, what is American food? There's like, like Italian. Nope, that's Italian. I'm like, oh, well, like pizza. And like, I don't know. We realized that we Americans have very few, food groups that are just like ours. So I think we narrowed it down to like barbecue. Like barbecue's American. That's like
Oh, did you get him some brisket, some ribs?
No, nope. We did sushi one night, and then we did Thai, we did ramen, and then we did like an Irish pub. But it's funny because like Aga is from London, and then Yamel and Nico are from Argentina. So it was like I was just like, guys, just do not consider me when you're trying to make your decision. Like I can go to any of these. You guys go to what you want. Like, so it was interesting just to get the take on like what is food like in Argentina. They're like beef, lots of steak, lots of meat. Yeah.
Argentina has some of the best beef in the world.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. So
I know this because of Tobik.
Oh yeah.
He loves Argentina.
I know. Well, I think they're onto something. The cows roaming around the pampas.
They probably massage the cow right before slaughtering it.
Yeah.
Like it's some things that we need to apply to our American food processing system.
Yeah. Argentinian Wagyu. Well, my biggest takeaway is I would just put a big thumbs up and say, guys, it's all going to be okay. We're okay. Like that, literally, if I had to sum it all up into one sentence, it would be that, like, like the people I got to be with, and not just like Aga and Nico, like they are beautiful human beings. They're really amazing people, so smart, intelligent. I mean, I tried to hang, but these people are smart. Like,
yeah, once they start talking about nodes and code and aggregating software to I don't know, the mainframe and whatever the hell, just out of the yep. I remember like I had a similar experience in 2022 in Miami when I met the previous CEO of Decentraland. Like they're smart individuals. Yeah.
Like Aga, the project that she has worked on are like, they're all projects we would know, and so smart, but so I don't know, humble, and just like I really enjoyed just the time together, with all of them, and then trying to understand what they're talking about, trying to keep up as much as I can with like oh well, is that a latency issue, and like okay, I'm like yep, I totally know what that means, but like just listening to them talk about the project, and I was like, I obviously got to tell them what the community has asked for, like so it was good to feel heard, and they were like, like some of what I said, they're like, okay, we'll check that out, we can take a look at that, and we can see if it's that problem or other things that I would bring up, and they're like, yep, that we're addressing that. So I think everything, the new client, from what they said, it's going to be a big change. And the way that they described it to me made so much more sense of why they are rebuilding from scratch. Like, because we all kind of know, like, oh, if you rebuild it, it's probably stronger. Like, but it'd be almost like if I'm making an emote and I make it halfway through and I like mess something up on it, or somebody else comes in and maybe they start doing a little work on the emote, and then I leave it, maybe a few other people come in and do something on it, and then I come back to it 2 years later, like, is it going to be easier to just to try to fix whatever's wrong with the emote, or is it going to be easier just to scrap it and start from scratch? And I think that is the part that makes sense, that throughout the years there have been different like modifications made to the software to the point where it is going to be, from my understanding, a lot of the issues might be solved just by starting from scratch and having a really strong team that, working on that. And
yeah, yeah, like usually when like my understanding to all that, it's like they have like the foundation software and then they just like stack onto it to a point, and they've gotten to a point where they just like coded themselves into a like stopping point where they can't do it anymore. That's
like maybe I don't know enough to accurately explain it, but it'd be like, okay, like, in this line of code, it makes a call out to the API, or like it references that one thing that's in the GitHub repository, and then it has to come back. So it's like maybe even just those couple go arounds might take a lot of the performance out. And then if you aggregate that across an entire platform, like what we're doing is freaking amazing. Like, to be honest, I mean, just, and I apologize in advance. I should put like a PSA. Sorry guys if I just wag me like so excited or like talk a lot about it, but like just explaining Decentraland for 5 days straight over and over again, like it just has really hit home that what we're doing here is big, like really big, to make it an open metaverse. I mean, when people came along and they started like, oh, so you're like Roblox, and it's like, well, there's certain aspects that are like Roblox, but we're an open virtual world that you can just walk from scene to scene. And that blew people away. They're like, wait, it's like an open, it's transversable. They're like, that's not a small feat.
No.
And so like I take for granted what we have, but to hear like software developers be like, whoa, you guys did that? It's like, okay.
You guys have that like every day?
Yeah, like if they're impressed, I guess I should, like, I mean, doesn't everybody have that?
we're like sitting here like, what, you don't?
Yeah, oh my god, yeah. For the guy that was excited to give away 70% to Roblox, he's like, yeah, it's okay. They do a lot for me. And Rustan's like, yeah,
you could be making 95%, or you can be making more.
97.5. Yeah.
Oh well, I mean, it's just one of those things that creators will come around once the volume, like the volume of people are there, like the interest is there. Like we are here because this is something that we're passionate about, so we're more than happy to go through willing to go through the trenches to come out through the other side for this. The bigger portion of individuals will come once all our hard efforts have been completed and built up, and like and then it's like, oh hi, I'm a new creator. And we'll be like, come over here, young one. Allow me to take you under my wing.
There were a lot of people definitely like interested, and they like, people liked the way our avatars looked. I mean, they thought the world looked cool. We tried to, take the avatar where the groups were, but then, it turned out to be harder than I thought, like to interact, and then people would want to like go and, explore. So I don't know about Knights of Antrim if they checked their analytics this week, but we went there a lot because people wanted to see like games in action, and so I'm like, oh, they're gonna be like, who are all these visitors today? But it was cool because we had like a screen on the background playing of like the music festivals and the art, Fashion Week. So it was really cool. Like people got to see the whole world. The map, showing them the map really like clicked for people. That made them realize like, oh wow, okay, like there's this open map that you can just walk from scene to scene. Like that right there was what I think impressed people the most, is the open transversability. You could just go anywhere. And then the ownership, actually, the crazy thing was the ownership, because, you know, I think it was a really good move for the foundation to have a community member, like an owner there, because, you know, as we're describing it, like, even, you know, when you go to the website, it's user owned and operated. Like, it makes sense to have owners representing us. Like, we should have owners representing, you know, our best interests. And so I could explain, you know, my experience to people, and Rustan was there for a little bit, and a few other people, you know, and it was nice just to talk about our experience. Like Rustan, you know, talking about his art gallery, that he can't have his art on, you know, Facebook. They kicked him off, you know, the first hour he was there, because he has, you know, artistic nudity. And so he actually said that when he came to Decentraland, he was just waiting for us to kick him out. He's like, all right, how long until they kick us out? You know,
He was waiting for like the community to form a riot, like we want Rustan out.
Yeah, get that guy out of here. I mean, in hindsight, maybe we should have, maybe we still should. You know, I still
instead I pee-peed in his pool in a penguin suit. With...
Yeah. So it helped to have like people there like us that could explain, like, yeah, I own this land, I could put whatever I want. Or DCL Worlds, like, when you have a world, you can put whatever you want on that, and you can keep a lot of the creator fee, because those are things, you know, I hate calling competition, because I don't want to compete with Roblox or Fortnite, you know, like user generated content like that. I don't think we're competing. Those are just different beasts. Like, we're all into video games, we're all doing, you know, kind of the same thing, but what we're competing for is time. Like, it doesn't matter if you got $1 in the bank or $1 billion in the bank, you still have 24 hours in the day, and we're competing for their people's attention. That is the only thing that it is fun to go play other games, and to walk your dog, and to go, you know, bungee jumping, and all the beautiful, cool things you can do in the world. So what makes this so much more special that you should spend your time with us? So I think that's, you know, like, I don't think we should compete with anybody, you know, obviously anybody but ourselves, but we should, like, why are we all here on a Monday night spending this special sacred hour or 2 hours of our life here? And for some reason we all decide that this is worth spending our time on. And so I think, I don't know, like, that just kind of hit me all week. Like, what am I doing with my land? Like, I need to do more. I need to, like, I mean, I don't have a club. I don't have an art gallery, don't have a game. You know, so I feel like I should.
What are you talking about? We do something every Saturday at noon Eastern, 9 p.m. No, 9 a.m. Pacific, which is the perfect segue into that topic. So you are co-founder of community building Decentraland. What could you tell us about that little group within the metaverse world? That wild bunch.
That wild bunch. I think they did something right, you know. I think back then I was, you know, one of the founding members of the Baby Dolls. I was doing a lot with them, and you came up and you were like, hey, we should do something together. And I have a bad habit of just like getting back to people like a month after they contact me, otherwise known as ghosting. It was not personal. I just, you know, anyway,
you know, it's funny.
That was on my timeline.
It's funny because last week when T-Bird was interviewing me, I kind of mentioned that, but then I gave like a little cursor to it, like, because like I feel like it was kind of karma from me, because and Gene is actually out in the crowd today. Like back when Beyond the NFT was kind of like being created, Gene Simmons in World, his name is Altcoin Radio, he was like kind of like saying, hey, you should create a show, you should do something like actual content, a focus and stuff like that. And I was like, no, you're crazy. Then I ghosted him for like 3 weeks. And to come back around like probably a few months later, and I'm just like telling you like, hey Canessa, we should make some content for Decentraland together, and you're just like,
Yeah.
no.
No, I was like, yeah, like I got you on the schedule. I'll talk to you in a month. Like that's kind of how my brain works. So if anybody has a message out there for me that I haven't gotten back, it's nothing personal. I just like I'm a squirrel, and if it's like I just get distracted by shiny things, and so yes, I'm sorry, and I ghosted you, and but then then we were like we should do something, because I remember it was like the DG proposal and then wearables. Wasn't it something really like there's two giant?
There's a lot of DAO nonsense happening,
Yeah,
and like a lot of people, like a lot of our friends in this community, were feeling like they had no say in the platform, when in
yeah.
reality, that's not what we want. And if we can change that, then by by all means we try.
Yeah, and I mean, I think it was like literally we were like, okay, well, we'll just talk to each other, if nobody shows up. And then I was surprised that people showed up that first week, and then like totally amazed that Esteban, the second week, like co-founder of Decentraland, is in our Twitter space. And like, if you guys could have seen Sin and I in the back channels, like Esteban, like, oh my gosh, should we invite him to speak? I don't know, I'm so scared. And like, we were I was new to hosting Twitter Spaces. Like, I don't know, that one time showing up meant so much. I know, yeah. So I think starting it like just without intent to do anything, like we didn't intend to, the only thing we were trying to do is put a screen in Wondermine. Like that was all we were trying to do. And then, 2 years later, here we are, and we have, a good or like honest, organic way for people to come together and find answers to their problems. And, like it serves a big purpose, I think. Yeah, like I have a new appreciation for what it means to be an owner here. Like if we are user owned and operated, it's not just talking about the land, it's talking about our mindset. Like we have to have the mindset of owners. We have to, we have to be leaders, I guess. Like if people see a problem or they want to see something they want to fix, with the idea that Decentraland is going to be turned over to its users in about 7 years, like we don't start exercising our, leadership muscles in 7 years. We start it today. Like, I think we have way more power than we realize. Like the community, just people. If you want something done, it's a little laggy in how it happens. Obviously, it's not perfect. But I think the CBD was the first time that, not the first there's some really good Discords out there that help people, but specific things, maybe more like building and coding. But I think CBD has some special sauce, just because maybe it's the people too that I really appreciate the people that are there helping. Some of our friends, leave. Real life always comes first, and I see some back. I see like SRJH is back, which is awesome. More, and I think the future has to look like that. That's the only way this idea, which really like Decentraland is an idea. We don't know if it's gonna work, right? Like the only way this is gonna work is if we are very intentional about the direction we want it to go in. And I would say after this week, it's the people that we maybe think are unattainable at Foundation, they're way more receptive than I think I thought, but I think a lot of times they're like, at least, with Nico and Aga, like they're heads down building. They're like, oh yeah, that would be a good idea. And I'm like, really? Like, like we need to maybe open up the channels too. That's one thing Aga and I talked about. I was like, we should just have like a way like things that we want on a list, and then you could be like, no, Canessa, this is not possible, or like, yes, we'll work on that. Like, I think we're all works in progress, and I think that is something we could definitely do.
Yeah.
I talked about like with Aga. I was like, Aga, you and I need to have like a tutorial for people. Like, you're the smart one. You can do like the high up, and then I'll like explain it in like, so then you take your computer and you unplug it and you push this button, like, because we're so different. Like, yeah, like Aga actually said, she was like, this has been so nice to be with somebody. I mean, she was trying to say it in a nice way, like somebody that doesn't know what the hell they're talking about. She didn't say that, but she was like, everybody I talk to, they're software engineers, they're developers, like they totally get it. She's like, it's so nice to see your energy and your excitement, and you don't, like, you don't. She didn't say I don't know what I'm talking about, but she basically knows I don't know what I'm talking about. And she and her and Nico both, they were like, okay, yeah, like Nico watched me get to the loot llama at the Fortnite booth. And I like, it was literally the first time in my life, in my head, I'm like, this is what fangirling feels like. Like, even now I can feel my cheeks getting red. And I'm like, oh my God, like I was fangirling. Like, I gotta get a selfie with the loot llama. And like, I was like, I'm so, like, it was just Nico and I, but I'm like, I'm so sorry, Nico. Like, I just really like that game. And, so I was like, I was feeling kind of sheepish. But then later he was like, you know what? He's like, that just to see your excitement over a game. He was like, that gives me so much passion. Like, that just like reignites my fire to see you get so excited over the loot llama. And so, like, I think there's magic with putting community members, with Foundation, at least in situations like this. Like, let them see our excitement. Like, let them see us fangirl, like.
Totally understand.
I think it's valuable.
Yeah, and so was there let's see, how do I ask this? Was there any moment where like talking to the team, you may have like found some potential middle ground for both Foundation and the community to kind of come together and connect in an easier way, because that's always been like the biggest issue with the Foundation's development team and the community members, and more so the community builders. How they've always felt kind of left out of the loop in a way, never know when updates come out and stuff like that.
Yeah, I would say always, the entire time. I would say, like, they asked my opinion. They said, like probably won't give specifics, but like, hey, if you had to do this event, where would you do it? Like, what do you think that, the community, blah, blah, blah. Like, the entire time I would say they were asking me what I thought just as much as I was asking them, like, so the client's gonna work, right? Like, yeah, I feel like we're a young company and our leadership is young, and you look at big companies, successful, Fortune 500 companies, look at how long they've been around, look at how long those leadership teams have been around, look at who's on the team, how big it is. I mean, how many people are working with HR, like taking those problems away so that the upper management doesn't have to, kind of handle those things. There's an entire infrastructure that has taken years to develop and years to work around. And those are for like private companies. But we're not even a private company. We are owners over here on this side, Foundation over there on that side. So even our basic business model is something that's so, like, I don't even know what I would compare it to in the real world. Like shareholders, and like you got your board of directors that you answer to. Like, maybe that's who we are as users and landowners. We're like the board of directors, or we're like the shareholders, and you got to keep your shareholders happy. what I suggested to them is to make like a community, kind of a community liaison team, where maybe like just what we need is another vote, right? And another team. But maybe we vote for people who could represent the community, get 5 people or something. And then instead of, complaining to your friend or complaining on the Discord or complaining in these back private channels and getting nothing done, go to your representative, go to those 5 people, and those 5 people or whatever the structure is, they can hear your problem, they can itemize it out, they can write it down, and then maybe once a month that group meets privately with the foundation, so that the community knows their problems are heard and communicated on. The foundation knows that they have people that they're gonna have issues that are gonna come up and hopefully get addressed. And I feel like that is that's really like what we need to push for, is having, like, if we're truly owners, like maybe the homeowners association, right? Like no more putting your rusty car out front, get that off my land. Like, I guess we need an HOA. But if we really are going to call ourselves owner, like user owned and operated, like at what point does that start? And I think that this trip was a step in the right direction. Just just like I don't know if it's been done much where community and foundation got to speak at length, the good, the bad, and the ugly, and and leading up to the summit trip as well. I think that there's the potential that good things will come, but it's stuff is not perfect. There's going to be mistakes along the way, and we all know that. Like, I don't know, leadership is hard, and I think that to me, like we were talking about earlier, knowing the people behind the team. Like, what I saw was Yamel tell Aga that since she had to take this really long flight home over the weekend, told her, hey, take Monday and Tuesday off because you have to work on the weekends, so take that day off to compensate. Like, I saw somebody, he went and got me water because my voice is going out. Like, he left, got me water. Like, I saw somebody representing good traits of a leader, and that comes first. Now the rest of the leadership, nobody's a perfect leader. We all make mistakes. Like, time will tell how that works, how that like translates to running an organization. But to me, because I'm a behaviorist, I look for those non-verbal cues, and I couldn't be more bullish, really. But it's not just him. Nico and Aga are freaking amazing. I'm fangirling over Nico and Aga.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully my personal opinion will change at some point, because I mean, I've already shared my personal opinions with you, and probably have said it in our space before, and they kind of stand until they show me something,
Yeah.
So coming back to like community building, Decentraland, kind of just I guess wanted to take this moment to kind of even ask you, what are your thoughts on like, okay, a little talk, I guess, context. In exactly 2 months, it will be the community building Decentraland's 2-year birthday or anniversary.
That's crazy.
Right? It's been 2 years and exactly 2 months. So like the countdown is on, and I'm like, trying to gather ideas here. During the space on Saturday, I did bring up the question, like, about, like, let's say the build aspect of it. Should we use the same build that we used last year and update it with all the coolest stuff, or should we do something new? Like, what are your thoughts on even that side of things?
I think the magic sauce is when groups of us came together to make that happen. Like, I don't care if I mean, we could have the coolest build in the world. Like, if I just went out and made it by myself, but that's not community. That's just me showing off that I can 3D model. Like that just doesn't have any meaning. Like I would rather be in something that, maybe doesn't look as good, but like we came together and we worked on it. So I would, even last year I was like, I don't want to do this by myself because, that defeats the purpose. I would love to see, groups of us come together, maybe people that want to get into 3D modeling that, it's scary to get into Blender, but like last year, like SRJH made a whale and then Argent made the scene and then they hosted it on my land. Brandon made a shirt. Everybody kind of had their own little piece that they contributed. And I think that, time again, like it's hard for people to dedicate their time, and nobody should, sign up if they don't have the time to do it. But if they want to, I think that it just shows, it was something really to be proud of last year. And at the end of it, like, just that experience of like, staying up late at night and being like, oh my gosh, okay, does this wearable dispenser work? So I would invite anybody that wants to be a part of it, even if you're like, I don't know, I don't do any of the above, but how can I help? Like, we'll probably find a place for you to help. Because what that does also is it like, it can go like in your portfolio. It can, like, I don't know. After that last year, I was like, we could work on that. We could do more builds. Like we could be a team. So maybe even, you find somebody that after you come together for that, you create your own little studio or you work on an emote together. And I think, I think it would be cool to vote on it, leave it up to the community if people want to be a part of it.
Yeah,
I would love to see something.
The reason why I'm like asking is because so far, we are 2 months till it, but like so far I have not gotten that same response. Like last year it was like very easy, like I'll do this, I'll do that, like, but this year I don't know if it's like people want me to hunt for them or they that's why I'm just like, should we use last year's build and just get it updated, or and then on top of that, like for like we could I know that in who was it, Mies or Rustan mentioned in World Builder, maybe we could use those as like sub locations, kind of how we did with the whale build. And that could even, I know that in World Builder does competitions, maybe that opens up the door for like them to hold a competition for the winners or top 3 people to be featured. There's just different things that we can do here.
Yeah.
Or should we do the whole thing in World Builder and like scrap the build from last year? Which I'm personally like, in a personal way, I'm attached to that build from last year because it's just so epic. It is an epic build that was put together like by just people wanting to create.
Yeah. I think like, and I think maybe it even just, people are busy and it's a bear market. Like it's hard to maybe get motivated in the same way as last year. But I think maybe just a few of us coming together to get started, having ideas, even coming up with a theme. Sometimes like if you got to throw a party, it's like daunting. But then if you're like, oh, well, I'm going to do a party that's going to be like, I don't know, Mardi Gras, then all of a sudden you're like, oh, we could do this and oh, we could do that. Like then the ideas start flowing. So yeah, I think in World Builder got the little tour of that. I gotta change. I gotta like start, I gotta leave SDK 6. So no matter what I do, it's gonna be a learning curve. So I think we should do something, and I think we should just make celebrate the community because like it's amazing we're all still here and we've seen our friends do amazing things, like go on to build games and have their art featured on movie shows and so maybe there's a way we can celebrate each person from the community a little bit more than we'd have.
Yep. Yeah, always open to, to new things. I know, like, on the side of like wearables, at least. I was talking with Brandon, and I'm so happy he even remembered like how like last year we were bouncing the idea of like every year making like a new category wearable, and then like
Yeah.
just like eventually having like a whole suit and a whole outfit. If anyone's watching, looking at the screen right now, I'm zooming into Metal Wolf's jacket right now. This was the CBD 1 year anniversary jacket that we made. We had the logos from everyone that directly contributed to making the build experience, as well as like even putting together like the entertainment. And then we did have like a fundraiser to kind of help us fund the wearable curation fees for the wearable. And we added the names on both sleeves of the jacket. Like, you could see Mana Daiquiri, Jen, we have Frisky Bumblebee. We have so many friends that, are, a lot of these names are still around.
Yeah.
Just roaming around. So,
That's
so,
so cool.
so yeah,
Because it's
just,
like a time capsule. It's like a time capsule wearable time capsule, and I think like every year should look different. It should, look and feel different. Like
and just,
like,
for a little context, like for everyone, like what was it? Like the donation aspect of things, we like split it into like at the market price back then, it was like 13 mana a piece, and we had like, bunch of slots. Uh,
yeah.
yeah, this is a little time capsule. I'm appreciating it more and more as we come closer to the date. Uh, so
Yeah.
so it's like, what's next? Do we make some pants? Do we make some pants this year? Kind of do the same concept, or
Pants would be awesome. I feel like pants with patches all over them. Like KJ Walker did such a good version of that. So I'm like, wait, that like she did what was in my head, like when we talked about it.
we do have to hire KJ to make the booty aspect of the pants. Yes.
Oh yes.
I say higher, but I'm just like, KJ, can you help? Uh, but
Uh,
but yeah, so wearables, like, the ideas are flowing there. Maybe we can make an emote uh that goes along with it. Like, there's a few things that we can, that we
yeah.
still kind of have to brainstorm a little bit and think about.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, I think like our community, if we're like, the founding of the CBD it gives us like a good period of time to kind of like remember, like, okay, 2 years ago right now we came together, and we were stoked about like the Wondermind screen, and it's going to change like throughout time, and in 2 years from now it's going to look totally different. There's going to be totally new names on that sleeve that we haven't even met them yet. So I think maybe every year we just have to like kind of redefine ourselves of like, what are we doing here? We're like almost like realign your compass. Like, okay, where's our path forward? What are we doing? Who's still here? Like roll call.
Roll call, check in on everyone.
Yeah. It's okay to move on. Like people have moved on to do, great things outside, and life comes first. So, making sure people feel like they have a home here that they can always come back to. And I know when I've spent time away, it's like you get, I don't know, like I would feel like, oh, now I'm a little nervous to go back in. Like I've been gone for a while, and just kind of making that environment where it doesn't matter if you've been gone for a day, a week, or a year. Like you can just pop back in and, hopefully have friends and people connections. Like, because if we're not doing that, then what the hell are we doing? We're just wasting our time.
Yep,
Gotta feel
exactly. This is a new name I haven't seen before, but they're wearing the, I think it was Fashion Week, Adidas. Was it Adidas? No, Polo?
Tommy Hilfiger. Is it Nira?
Tommy. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. One help I did get is that our friends from Foundation come in under alts. We were like, why? Don was like, why? So I don't know. I'm like, okay. Have I talked to you? Have I like thrown a bunch of wearables at you before? Probably.
Sorry, I was reading chat. Yeah, yes, they do come in like some secret names. Some are obvious, others not so
Yeah.
obvious, like Test.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, hey, Test, and they're like, what's up, Simple? I'm like, oh, you're someone I know.
Yeah. Somebody with all the answers.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So we've been going for about 1 hour and 45 minutes tonight in tonight's interview. Let's see, is there any aspect of stuff that I have not covered? Let's see, Canessa's ambassador, Canessa CBD, Canessa Developer Conference. Yeah, I guess I'm all out of questions, Canessa. Any questions that you may have for Mew?
Good one. Let's see. Somebody did have a question. OG Contraband. Is this the same community building that had a DAO bid Tinder thing? No, that is probably one thing that is worth mentioning is like we've agreed not to, like we haven't asked the DAO for anything. Like we just, I don't know. I think that's kind of like a beautiful thing is like we're underground renegades.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you know, it seems like a lot of the times money corrupts in a way, and to tell you the truth, it's just like so beautiful what this group has come together to do, like without any funding, like, you know, just all vibes, like no money involved, just vibes. And anyone's welcome in the space that wants to, you know, join us. It's like, you know, individuals within, like what I personally encourage is that individuals within CBD, you know, get together and form your own teams, and you know, I encourage that DAO proposal if you have a good idea, like that is definitely something that I'd love to see. But as far as CBD as this server, this group that we have created almost 2 years ago, my personal outlook is there's no need to ask for DAO funds.
Yeah. Yep. Maybe for donuts. That's the only thing. Just you know, maybe some donuts. That might be nice.
DAO donuts. Yes, let's do it.
Yeah. On the right side, what are your future plans? Oh my gosh. Like, I don't know if you're talking like mine or the CBD.
Plan to take over the world.
I don't know what I'm going to be when I grow up. I'm like, after going to this conference, it's painfully clear that like, I wish I had more computer coding on, like, I don't need to be a coder, but I wish I understood it more, because I think I could help more people. And then I think I could, you know, like the more that I learn, the more appreciation I have. And, you know, like I'm not, this isn't my first rodeo. Like I already had a profession. So going back to school now to like, you know, do something new is pretty overwhelming. But I don't know, like love to do more 3D modeling. I'd love to understand like the back end of the software that's going on here. But I really would love to just see more people. Like, I'm like fascinated by when I see people do like reach their dreams, like CK Bubbles, you know, like their art is on, you know, RuPaul's Drag Race. Like that just makes me so happy. Or when I see people like publish their first wearable, and it's like, I don't know if there's a job where you can like help people do cool shit.
You said the
But
CK. You said the CK bubbles. Let's let's talk about your nail set that you
oh, my
wore.
nails! Oh my gosh, yes. Oh,
All right,
so I
that I have the
got
picture.
yeah.
Yeah, I have the picture up down the
Ooh, picture.
line.
Okay. Oh my gosh. Okay, those nails. So I when I found out that I was gonna be able to go to GDC, I was like, I've talked to CK for a long time. Like, I want nails, and then this was the perfect way of like, I want the nails to represent the community because that is the strongest asset that we have is community. So I was like, yeah, could you, just kind of like gave them a few ideas and then they ran with it. But at the conference, people were freaking out that like they could scan. So inside the little
Nice.
Decentraland one, there's a what is that? NP, like it's an RFID chip, I think, or NFC,
Oh,
NFT.
I
Or
already know that you were the
what is
coolest
it?
kid in that conference. I already know.
Oh, oh hell
FRID, I
yeah.
believe. Uh, or
RFID, yeah. Yeah, so people were scanning my nail to get to Decentraland's linked tree.
That's so awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, as I mentioned, I already knew you were the cool kid at that conference with those nails because I got the first-hand experience of seeing CK Bubbles wear their nails,
Yeah.
their nails
Yeah.
at NFT Miami back in 2022. And
Yeah.
everywhere we went, it was we'd be hanging out doing something, then someone would pop up and be like, "Hey, I really love your nails," like, and then CK got to it. It's like, "Hey, want to see something cool?" And then did
Oh my
the
gosh.
phone scan.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, like it was pretty unreal. And like I mean the crazy thing, or the thing that like it was so cool to see women representation, like representing at this conference. Like our booth had 3 women at one point, like when the Argentinian boys went out and wandered around. Like, so somebody actually complimented us. They're like, wow, it is awesome to see the presence in Web3 in gaming. But the nails, like those because I mean everybody's a salesperson at these conferences. Like, oh my gosh, it's just you it's hard to like go around and you just see people after people trying to shill. So the nails were like an easy way to just be standing there and somebody sees you and it's like, whoa, like, okay, tell me about your nails. Like, well, let me tell you about our Lord Jesus Savior Decentraland. And I didn't have to evangelize quite as hard with the nails. But yeah, it was cool. I gave them an idea of each person that I want represented, and they just ran with it. So it was cool. It was a
so
beautiful, beautiful thing.
so going down the line from left to right, who is featured on your hands?
So like, even though I don't really have a brand, the butterfly is kind of like a pink butterfly. If I had a brand and a logo, that's what it would be. I'm so bad. I suck at this. God, I should quit. Anyway, someday maybe I'll have a brand and I'll have butterfly on. And then on that nail also it has the Japanese symbol for family. And I reached out to Kenji and Henkos, our ambassadors from Japan, and I was like, guys, friends, like if I wanted to say people that I care about so much are friends and they become my family, is this how I would do it? And I showed them what I found, and they're like, no. I'm like, nope, that is, family is actually very specific in Japanese, that you would not say it like that. Like, it is very respectful, very honorable. And and so we went back and forth of like, okay, what about friends? Like, and I kind of told them, this is what I basically, this is what you guys mean to me, and then they then they were like, yes, this is what it is. The sunflower, that is my good friend Mariana. I thought that would be a good one for her.
Decentraland sunflower.
Yes, she is. The next one, it looks like it's kind of hard to see. I asked my good friend Fancy, who collects gemstones. I said, Fancy, what is your favorite gemstone? and why. So Fancy looked through all of his stuff and sent me a picture of his, and holding this beautiful Labradorite. So then I was like, CK, like, can we do this? And CK's like, yeah, I got this, mother of pearl, like abalone overlay. So that nail is actually super thick.
Is it heavier than the others?
It is. It's bigger. It's definitely like, I mean, if you attack me on the hard streets of San Fran, I'm gonna go for you with that nail, like jugular. Sorry, that got dark really fast. It's heavier. It's heavier, but I chose violence today. Low poly models, obviously KJ's cat with the glasses. That one is so cool. The 2 Decentraland logos. And people just loved it. Like at first they did, people not familiar with the brand, they didn't quite understand. But then when I laid it down by the pins, they were like, "Oh!" And then Ruston's body painting, that one, that's cool. Because I just told CK, I was like, "Okay, Ruston body painting." Didn't say anything else. And yeah, like that was their interpretation. So that's really cool. And then of course I was like, CK, do your bubbles, do whatever you want for bubbles. So that is CK's rendition of their bubbles. And then Odd Job's Mimsy Flower, which I think that one, which CK posted some like previews, and I think that was pretty clear to see that was going to be like Odd Job's Flower. And then your Mew didn't make it into this picture, which is fine because of magic. Yeah, the magic is when it's glow in the dark.
Oh, looks like I lost it. I'm trying to look for it.
Yeah, I think it's on mine somewhere down.
Somewhere down here.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe
so
I went.
CK sent me a picture of.
Here it is.
Okay. Yeah, so that one glows in the dark. When it glows in the dark, then it's like totally your Mew sign. But it's so I was in the hotel room like trying to light it up and like trying to get a picture. Yes.
No way.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
CK, if CK's here, CK will have. Oh yeah,
CK's in the audience here.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, now those things were not easy to work in, and I show up at the booth, and I'm like, it's the second day. I'm like, hi, like trying to do work with all these nails on, and so there was a steep learning curve of like trying to hit the buttons on the computer with my long talons and show people, the different places to go and like open, when I hit X and open up the map and with my nail, that usually people are like, what's a nail? But, yeah.
I mean, you sound like you had so much fun at the conference, and as I've mentioned to you before, I'm very proud that you got the opportunity to showcase Decentraland in like its purest form, in all honesty, because there is like at the conference, like the community, the like individuals like you, Rustan, like you're the perfect people to talk about the platform because of your experience of using it. Of course the team is there and they don't use the platform, so it's like they can talk about like making it, but like you are the bread and butter.
Yeah, I mean, I think it without a community member there, I think it would have just been a very different experience that we'd be, telling people about. And it really is us. We are the platform. Like, I don't care if it's built on Unity or Unreal Engine or made with Blender or what it's made with. Like, without the community, it's just pixels and blockchain transactions. And we are the heart. Like, we are the power behind it. And so, my hope is that I'm one of many, that as they travel around and go to more conferences, that they'll invite, different community members to represent us. And so I think that'll be the possibility. And for anybody that doesn't know, this is the biggest gaming conference in the world. This was 25,000 people. It was amazing and big. And just the fact that we were there, I think, I don't know, like I'm excited for what our little world was able to do. Like it was so cool. Actually, it was so hard to leave the booth. You want to know what's funny is like Yamel tore down tore down the sign that said Decentraland, and Aga was like, "Here, Canessa, you can put this in your, you could take this in your luggage." And I'm like thinking, yes, I do want to put that on my wall. So then Yamel starts like trying to fold it up, and because when you leave the booth, you're like, what do we do with this? This swag is awesome. Like, I want to take this giant panel home. I want to take Aisha home. Like, so the hardest thing was walking away from the booth, like walking away from Aisha, the NPC character that's in Genesis Plaza that Doki made. Like, I so wanted to like take Aisha with us, like take a box cutter and rip her apart and bring her with. So.
I remember when Aisha came out. Brandon made a video of me flirting with Aisha.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I mean that I feel like that's a great stopping point. There's so much that we can talk about.
Yeah.
Any final thoughts you would like to leave our friends with tonight?
I think it's okay if you don't have a direction here. Like I don't have much of a direction. I never have, and cool shit has just, I don't know, come around. So I think if you don't have a group of friends that you're like, tied at the hip with, that's okay. Like if you don't know where this journey's taking you, I mean, that's me. I do not know. I don't know where this bus is leading. I don't know when I'm getting off. Like, I just know that, like, I'm on this bus with the coolest freaking people, and I just got to meet her and a couple tour guides, and I'm like so stoked with them. And I think that I truly believe, and I could be wrong, but I truly believe good things are on the way. Good fucking things are on the way. And like, it's not gonna be easy. There's still gonna be, there's still probably gonna be road bumps, but I believe in the people that are trying to get us there. I believe their intentions are good, and yeah, I'm stoked. I'm not getting off. I've like strapped myself to the top of the bus. So
we're not getting off. We're not getting off for anyone.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you, Canessa, for being my guest on Beyond the NFT. Guest, victim, same thing.
Yeah.
On Beyond the NFT. It's been a good conversation. Awesome 2-hour conversation with you tonight. And yeah, hopefully we could do it in the future again. Maybe get some other guests to join us as well and make it a group conversation.
I told you. I think I might got some leads. That let's start breaking down these walls. Let's start putting some of our new friends on the spot and bring them in.
Yeah, I mean, most definitely. I agree. Well, thank you, Canessa, and thank you everyone that has stuck around for the last 2 hours here at Meta One Designs headquarters on Decentraland. Just want to give a few shout outs. Bucktown. Oops. Let's see. Let's bring it back to this screen here. Want to shout out our sponsors a little bit here. Show some love to Bucktown. Make sure to head over to their Twitter, Bucktown MMA, and give them a follow. Jay Isip is the founder of Bucktown MMA. His journey is to get kids out of the streets and into a gym, doing something meaningful, something that will move them forward. I'm on the screen right now. I'm showing their website. This is their donation section. You could there's a video, I believe, at the top here when you click on donate, and learn a little bit about the kids and what the program is really about. So yeah, thank you, Bucktown, for helping me keep the Mew dream alive here on Decentraland. And And yeah, thank you everyone. Take care, and we'll be back here next week for another episode of Beyond the NFT. Please stand by while I get RuPaul's Drag Race started. Good night, everyone.
Oh, good night.